afternoon folks, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lee, your virtual airline pilot, back with you again with another scenery review. And today we have a real treat for you, especially for those people or those pilots who fly bush planes. This is a freeware scenery. This is SINGITA Airstrip, which is within the SABI game reserve in the Republic of South Africa. It's Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor, although there does seem to be some confusion over the ICAO code, but for the scenery purposes it's Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor. This is a freeware scenery by DangerousBanana, and this is version 1, the release version for Flight Simulator 2020. No mention as to whether it might work or not in 2024. I believe that this developer for the moment just does sceneries for Flight Sim 2020. It's not very big. It's 52k download and 116k install. As I've said, it's available free from the Flightsim.To website. Okay, the key features here: we've got a hard standing main ramp, as you can see, and a stunning lodge there. The runway is asphalt constructed, and we've got animated human figures that you can see here. Just a note for you, in order to see all of the models and everything in this scenery that I'm going to show you today, you need to ensure that you've got the world updates for Oceania and Australia and New Zealand installed. And you also need the animated humans library, again, which is a free download from the Flightsim.To website. I'll put the link to that in the description below. And once again, we'll be looking at a free livery repaint for the aircraft that's used here. This is the CESSNA Grand Caravan 208, the default Asobo aircraft, and this is a livery repaint which we will be featuring and discussing in the video. Okay, so let's look at some history. Okay, history, and it's pretty small, just a few things that I've managed to do some research and find out for you. So SINGITA Airstrip, or SINGITA Aerodrome, is located within the SABI game reserve in South Africa. It is a private airstrip used for ferrying guests into and out of the various lodges and camps within the reserve. The airstrip is just 10 minutes away from the SINGITA Ebony Lodge and can be reached by flights from Johannesburg in around an hour or so. Ferry flights are usually provided by Federal Airlines, often using the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan or the Pilatus Porter aircraft operating from Oliver Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg. The runway has an asphalt surface and is suitable for small prop aircraft. The airstrip features a small, rustic, safari-style thatched BOMA, which serves as the airstrip's terminal building, and it is said that guests may encounter resident leopards near the airstrip. So there you are, just a little brief history for you. This is a popular place for bush pilots, bringing guests in from Joburg to stay in the camps, often the luxury camps out here in the South African bush. So let's look at our featured aircraft livery. Okay, so a quick look at our featured aircraft livery today. This is the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan, the default Asobo one, and this repaint in Federal Airlines, repainted by Cedric. The link to this file is in the description below. It's a lovely livery. This airline exists in the real world. As I said, they ferry guests and tourists in and out of the camps. This one's no exception. And they have this aircraft. They have a Pilatus Porter. They also have a jet transport as well. But today we're looking at the 208 Caravan, and repainted by Cedric. And yeah, and he's got a whole, when you download the file, there's a whole list of various registrations, so you get to use whatever different aircraft you want to use. So as you can see, the detail's pretty good. I mean, you've got everything here. The livery is faithfully reproduced, beautiful up there on the tail. And as you get up there close, you can see the all the rivets and bolts and everything. I mean, this is just a lovely little aircraft. Registration, nice work on the tail logo there. So a quick look inside. As far as I know, this is default. There's been no interior work. And just looking towards the rear. But as you can see, a really nice repaint. It's just been, just been done very, very nicely. And as I said, there's a whole host of registration models for you to choose. And all in all, just a really nice model, a really nice repaint. It's been done very nice. As I said, this is the default Asobo CESSNA Grand Caravan 208B, which you get installed with the simulator, and this is a repaint by CARAVAN, available on Flightsim.To now. And as I said, the download includes several registrations of the aircraft used by this airline to ferry the guests in and out of the camps. So there you go. Hope you enjoy that. If it's something you want, as I said, the link is in the description below. And you bush pilots, if you're interested in this, head over to Flightsim.To and you can download this free of charge. Okay, runways. So SINGITA Airstrip operates a single runway 0119 measuring 1,399 feet or 426 meters, and it's made from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 1,365 feet or 416 meters and sits within the GMT UTC plus 2 hours time zone. Now, South Africa does not observe daylight saving time or DST, and so with the UK now forward onto summertime, the airstrip is just 1 hour ahead of the UK. So we're in November now. I've changed the month to November, and it's now 6 p.m. local time. Many of you who do any bush flying in South Africa in the sim or otherwise will know that these strips, basically you fly out to them, or they operate from sunrise to sunset. So 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. during the South African summer months, obviously in the southern hemisphere, from late October through till about February is their summer, and it's when they get the longest hours of daylight. And of course, this is the time when the tourists and vacationers visit these camps and are ferried out there. So flights go in and out of the camps between sunrise and sunset. No flying afterwards, because there is no light or no lighting on many of these airstrips. And SINGITA is exactly the same, is a perfect example of this. As you can see, low light, but no lights at all on the runway or any navigation aids. Also note, there are no published approach procedures. This isn't an instrument approach airport. There are no approach procedures. It's basically a VFR Mark 1 eyeball landing and takeoff. So this is runway 01, and you've got 19 at the other end, so that's the runway there. And it's a reasonably high elevation, 1,300 feet or so, and the runway is just under 1,400 feet, so it's long enough to get props. And you might get a small jet in here, I don't know really, but it's not terribly wide. But anyhow, that's the runway for you. So let's have a look at this airport in close-up and see what it's like. We'll take it back to the daytime and have a look. Okay, so a daytime tour of this scenery. It's just after midday. As I said, it's November. We've got the time of November 2025, which is where the sort of South African summer really gets going, because they're in the southern hemisphere. So let's move north. There you can see the runway. There's a turning pad there as well. As far as I understand it, this is default scenery around it, but as you can see, the developers blended the airport nicely in with the default, and it looks really good. It's typical really of an African bush strip, and also this is typical of many strips where they have the name of the strip painted into the side of the adjacent to the runway there by the windsock. This is to help pilots identify the strip amongst the many that may well be out here. So you've got the windsock on the left. Here's the main ramp, which is also nicely done in concrete. There's the BOMA on the left, which basically represents the terminal. Well, as you can see, this is typical African bush. and this would be a wonderful place to fly into. As I said, it's only about an hour away from Johannesburg, one of the many types of camps, and those of you who have the Okavango Delta scenery that was produced some time ago could well enjoy this. Be interested to see if I could fly here from Maun, which is basically the base camp, where most of the flights out into the bush strips happen. There to the right you can see various lodges and buildings out there not far from the strip, all of which can be explored. Certainly if you've got a helicopter. Well, as you can see, some nice stunning country to explore out here, not far from the strip itself. Now we've got some animals down there by the river. Well, let's get back to the scenery itself. This is what's been done by the developer, and it looks really good here. As you can see, you've got hard standing parking places, and you've got a terminal which basically is a BOMA. It's a thatch roof structure there. There's a default caravan sitting on part of the scenery there as well, and there's our Federal Airlines caravan sitting over there. Beautifully done, a really lovely little simple scenery that I think is really nice. So here are your animated humans, a guy with an oversized camera lens there, and as I said, you'll need the animated humans library to see all these things. But you've got a couple of trucks, your baggage sitting over there, obviously people waiting to be ferried out. And you've got a nice Jeep kind of truck there. Again, this is typical of the sort of vehicle they use out in the bush strips. And here you've got a vehicle that's designed to carry the sort of passenger numbers you get in the caravan, which I think is about 8 or 9 passengers. Here's the BOMA itself. A BOMA is basically a thatched building. In most cases, BOMAs are used to house livestock and stop them from getting out. But as you can see, BOMAs are also used to house, basically as a building to house people. And here you've got seating area on a plinth at the back of the BOMA. There's also, well, as far as I remember, this is a lot what they call a plunge pool. They fill this with water and you can get your bikini on and have yourself a nice old time in the sun. And here's another view of the building. You've got the picnic table outside, look, and you can see inside here. This is parallaxing, I believe. And you've got solar panels on the roof. And here you've got this additional building here, and there you've got stairs and a baggage trolley. And there's a view across the ramp showing you this building here on the right hand side. Okay, so lastly, here's a high level shot showing you the ramp area. And here you can see the road where the vehicles would take the people out to the various camps in the distance that we saw earlier on. Okay, so I'm going to drop the lighting down to 6 PM local time, which is the limit to basically which you would fly in here. Okay, 6 PM local time. As I said, it's November. It's sort of the semi-height of the summer season in South Africa, where they get the longest days of daylight. So these flights operate into these strips during this time of the year, because at other times, you know, they're just too dark, really. So they operate from 6 AM to 6 PM, as I said before, and here's what it looks like at 6 PM. So the airport would effectively be closed for operations after this time. And just a couple of quick shots around the ramp. As you can see, it really looks beautiful. I mean, I love this time of day anywhere you fly, really. It just really looks a lot better. And looking to the north, I mean, it's a lovely time of day and the scenery looks great at this time, so if you want to do a bit of bush flying and time your arrival just before 6 p.m, I guarantee you'll have a lovely, really lovely little flight. And once again, there's the sort of road, or the track that takes you away from the airport out to the various camps. And of course, note that you've got no lighting of any kind on the runway, so you really are going to be limited in terms of flying time. And there's a nice view looking at the setting sun. And you've got the camp there in the airport terminal area there in the foreground. Okay, so let's bring it up to dawn, 6 a.m, and see what it looks like when you're ready to fly first thing in the morning. Okay, 6 a.m. local time, and here's the airstrip and the airport itself with the sun behind me. This is 6 a.m, and this is what it looks like. And there, looking south and west, you've got 01 threshold over there. And looking to the northwest, you've got the river and areas that we saw before. So here we are on the eastern side of the main strip ramp area, and here you can see various storage things here. And here we are at the back of the BOMA, and here's the chap I didn't see before during the daytime on the other side of the van. And again, it just looks really nice at this time of the day, you know, the colours and the way the sun reflects everywhere, it's beautiful. And finally, out looking across the main ramp as the sun comes up behind everything. Just looks great. Okay, 7:45 in the morning, we've raised the time up, and time to give you my thoughts. Okay, this is a hopefully fairly short review. But you know what, sceneries like this are just wonderful. They're really beautiful when the developer takes on a little project like this and you end up with something that really has a lot of ambience and atmosphere, and they've captured it here, I think. Okay, we could do with a couple of animals. There's supposedly leopards living not far from this runway, but you know what, this is my first scenery that I've reviewed from the developer DangerousBanana, and I do have some of his other sceneries which are brilliant. And I just think this is a wonderful little scenery, and I thought we would do something for the bush pilots amongst us out there. And I've yet to learn to fly the Caravan, although I've got my own CESSNA 172. What I would really like to do is find a 208 Caravan with the old style instrument panel rather than the glass cockpit, which I don't really like, to be honest, but that's just a preference for me. But as for the scenery, this is a lovely little freeware scenery that you just install. Doesn't require anything except the animated humans to give you the people. It's ripe for development. You could do loads of things. Like I said, there are leopards living not far. They could be put in. But no, it's a lovely place, and I did a little research beforehand to find out about the runway length and elevation and other things. It's just, it exists in the real world, and to me it's a lovely little scenery, and I'm really happy that I've managed to be able to review it. This guy is a good developer. He does lovely little sceneries, highly recommended for you. So yeah, go out onto Flightsim.To and have a look for DangerousBanana and look at some of the sceneries he's done. If you're into bush flying or flying out here with a helicopter, it's great. So there you are, folks. This is SINGITA Airstrip in the SABI Game Reserve in South Africa, Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor. It's a freeware scenery by DangerousBanana, and this is version 1 for the PC version of Flightsim 2020. Download comes in at a mere 52k and installs at 116k, so it's not massive, and it's available free from the Flightsim.To website. You will require the world updates for Oceania, Australia and New Zealand to be installed, and in order to see all the little effects you'll need the animated humans library, and I've linked that in the description below. Also, have a look at the featured aircraft livery, the Asobo Cessna 208 Caravan in the livery of Federal Airlines. This is repainted by Cedric, I think that name is. And again, I put the link to that file in case it's something you're interested in. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this little scenery. It's a gem, a lovely little gem of a scenery, and best of all, it's free. So yeah, look out for my next review coming this week, where we look at Aberdeen, but the version by Aurora Scenery, and hopefully you'll enjoy that too. So my name's Lee, your virtual bush pilot today. Thanks for joining me, thanks for watching, and also my thanks to the many people who have put comments around the videos up to now, and for all your support. Thank you very much. So I will see you in the next video. Have a great time, guys. Be safe in the air. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye now.